Hey y'all, so today is my second video. I wanted to kind of go back into what I talked about in my last video as far as depression and as far as different things that I have mentally going on and misconceptions of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, so it starts with my last class that I was in for EMS. I am studying to become a paramedic. Um, we were talking about suicide and the signs and different things that we would have to look for. And a comment was made about cutting and how if your cuts are horizontal, meaning going left and right, then that means that you made an attempt. But if they are vertical, it's just for attention. Again, in the last video that I made it very clear that I don't find things like that funny, so I did confront the guy after that. I do understand that being in the medical world, I might hear things like that, but at the same time, that doesn't make it okay to be said. So with that said, I kind of had a trigger moment yesterday, and I decided to make a video today about anxiety attacks because I had one. And again, I like to be very honest about myself and things that I go through. And with that being said, when I have an anxiety attack, it's very hard to explain, but I can always tell when one is coming on. Usually it feels like I get a chill, like not a cold chill, but kind of like a shiver that starts at my head and it like travels down to the rest of my body, and I feel pressure. I feel very overwhelmed with emotion, whether that be anger, sadness, or happiness. I get overwhelmed. I feel like I'm drowning in whatever it is that I'm feeling at the moment. And sometimes I get very detached from reality. I tend to forget that I'm actually here. Sometimes I forget that certain things happen. Sometimes I black out. Sometimes I feel like I'm seeing what's happening, but I have no control over what's happening. I have no control over what I'm saying. I have no control over what my body is doing. And sometimes that can be very scary for me. And I experienced that a lot, especially lately. I'm currently in school. I'm working a job. I'm trying to find a new job that has more benefits. Another thing is I have no health insurance. When you don't have health insurance, your resources are very limited as far as being able to get medication for any problems that you have, whether they be mental or not, or getting therapy, or just trying to go to the doctor and get checked up on. Especially, it depends on what state you live in too. I know in the state of Virginia, being a Commonwealth state, a lot of things here are based on whether you have kids, whether you are married, whether you are in the military, or it's based on how old you are. I know that here, trying to apply for Medicaid, the state of Virginia does not extend it to people that are in my situation, as I said in my last video. So a lot of things that I go through is a result of me not being medicated and me not being able to go to therapy. So I'll reach out to you guys if you know any way or any support groups online or in person if you live in my area, which is Virginia. then please let me know in the comments below. And to continue on with my topic, I'm kind of all over the place, so you're gonna have to excuse me. Along with my anxiety the other day, I get very manic. I have moments where my thoughts don't make sense. I don't make sense. I'm kind of all over the place. I get very suicidal. But yeah, I'm not really trying to commit suicide. In my mind, I kind of equate it to, I'm not trying to kill myself, but if there was something dangerous happening, if the building was on fire, if I was about to get hit by a car, I'm not so sure that I would try to save myself in a situation like that. And sometimes that makes me uncomfortable, knowing that I would do something like that, but at the same time, I'm used to my mind being this way. I have had problems with my mental health for as long as I can remember, but when you get older and you no longer have therapy, you no longer have medicine, you no longer have somebody telling you what something is, it's very confusing and very hard to live with because you're trying to figure out what's going on. You have all these symptoms, but you don't know what exactly you have. But at the same time, you can't see the doctor to ask them, what's going on. And even then, when I was in therapy, it took a while to be diagnosed with different things. When I was diagnosed with depression, I actually had to go to a mental hospital because I had made an attempt on my life and I was cutting, and I had went to school and I had confided in a friend. My friend at the time was scared for me and decided to tell my guidance counselor, who then called social services, who then called my parents. Long story short, I ended up staying in the mental hospital for about a week. And while I was there, I was diagnosed with separation anxiety and depression. Now, they said that there were other things that are going on, but it's hard to diagnose because some symptoms can mimic other things. And that's why sometimes I feel like I'm either bipolar or sometimes I feel like I have a personality disorder. I'm not entirely sure, but I keep feeling like something is wrong, but I can't place my finger on it. And I also have a problem with stress. I do not do stress well. I do not do abandonment well. I do not like it when people try to leave me. I get very clingy. I get very uncomfortable with that, and I'm uncomfortable with the idea of people being mad at me or being upset with me. I don't like that either. And it's very easy for people that don't understand to say things like, well, you need to get over it, that's life, it happens. But when you have a mental problem such as that, where you feel so strongly about something, it's very hard to just let it go. It's very hard to just be like, oh, I'm gonna be okay. It's alright. I'll get over it. No one in the history of ever has ever told a person to calm down and they calm the hell down. It doesn't work like that. And it's also not okay, in my opinion, to tell somebody that, there's other people that have it worse than you. That's something that I'm not okay with either, because you don't know what that person is going through. As I said before, and I'll keep saying it, I'll sound like a broken record, and I don't really care. But when a person's going through something, that is one of the worst things to tell them. When a person is trying to talk to you about something that they're going through, they're confiding in you. And that's a big thing for them. So when you say things that are insensitive or you say things that aren't very supportive, it can really hurt that person more than you know that it could. So if somebody is trying to come to you and talk to you about something that they're going through, a problem that they're having, or something that they're feeling, try to be supportive. Try to listen. Don't try to belittle them. Don't try to make them feel like what they're feeling is irrelevant. Don't try to talk over them. Don't try to do anything except listen and try to be supportive. Sometimes a lot of people, and I know from my own history, a lot of people that are on the edge of taking their own life will reach out one last time to talk to somebody and to kind of find something to keep them here. They'll do that one last time before they actually go through with what they plan on going through with. And if they don't get the result that they want, then they're going to go ahead and take their own life. That happens in some cases, I won't say all. In my case, I have tried to commit suicide multiple times, and a lot of times I reach out one last time and talk to somebody, or I try to find something that will still keep me attached here. Like, I'll try to find, some reason why I need to still be alive and need to still be here. And that can help a lot of people still want to go on. I know last night, I had a moment where I was out of my mind. I was ready to go. I was ready to take my own life. I had started cutting. I was taking medicine that wasn't mine. And honestly, the only thing that kept me from not completely ending it all was the fact that I have a very loving family. I have a very loving family, a very close-knit family, and I also couldn't leave my dog behind. It may seem trivial and stupid to some people, but it's the small things that can keep somebody alive and keep somebody hopeful that things are going to change. Like right now, I feel like I keep getting bad news about everything. I'm trying to do good in school. I'm trying not to fail. And, sometimes it's a trickle effect, a domino effect. You keep having things happening, or you keep feeling some type of way, and then all of a sudden, one day you snap and it all collapses on you. It's like playing a game of Jenga. Like, you keep taking blocks away, and one day the whole tower is going to tip over. So sometimes you have to do checks on yourself. We live in a world where people don't care about each other, so you have to care about yourself. You have to look in the mirror and ask yourself if you're okay. How are you doing? Are you alright? You have to ask yourself, are you going to be able to make it through today? Do you need to take a break today? Sometimes you might need to call out of work and take a personal day. Sometimes you might need to skip school or skip class because you need a mental day. It happens to the best of us. It happens to me. And it doesn't make you less of a person for that. Also, I wanted to talk about different medication that I've been on and the effects of it. Right now, I have Prozac left because I haven't been taking it right, to be honest, which is why I have so much left. I feel so bad for saying that, but let's be real here. Sometimes I don't take my medicine because sometimes I don't like the way it makes me feel. Prozac has to build in your bloodstream. A lot of medicine for mental health or medicine in general has to build in your bloodstream before it starts taking effect. So once you start taking it, when you first start taking Prozac, Zoloft, or anything like that along those lines, when you first start taking it, it makes you a little sick. I know when I first started taking Zoloft, it made me sick to my stomach. Had a hard time trying to keep it down, but my doctor warned me that that might happen. With Prozac, it was kind of the same thing, but not as bad. With Ritalin and Concerta, that has to build as well, but it doesn't take as long to start working, or starts working immediately. You start calming down and everything. The only thing I don't like about Ritalin is that you can feel it when it starts to wear off. And you'll be sitting there calm, able to pay attention, you're getting shit done, and then all of a sudden you're looking out the window and there's a squirrel running across the grass. Like, it gets a little bit creepy that you can tell when your medicine is starting to wear off. And you start going back to being yourself. Again, with medication, I feel like it makes you comatose. It makes you feel like an empty shell. And I think that, for me personally, again, like I said in my last video, it makes me feel not like myself. And that's why sometimes I don't take my medicine like I'm supposed to. Because I want to be myself, but be my best self. If that makes any type of sense. I hope it does. But anyway, with that being said, with medications, you can go to your normal doctor, your PCP, primary care physician, to get prescribed these medications. But it would be best if you go to a psychologist, a therapist, somebody that actually has a degree in the field, so they know exactly what to put you on and they know exactly how much to put you on. Because sometimes primary care doctors don't know, because they might not prescribe that medication as often as they do everything else. And also with therapy, I have been to therapy several times growing up. I have been to family therapy and individual therapy, and while I was staying in the mental hospital, we had group therapy. Therapy, it depends on what you're used to and what you're okay with. If you're okay with kind of broadcasting yourself and being in a group of people who have similar problems as you or worse problems than you, then group therapy is for you. If you like the setting of sitting in a circle and kind of going around and talking about your problems and talking about coping mechanisms and how to make things easier and what others do, and getting examples from other people that have similar problems, then group therapy is for you. Now, if you feel very shy, you don't want everybody knowing about you're crazy, and you don't really want to broadcast yourself that way, then individual therapy might be for you. One-on-one, just you and the therapist just talking and trying to find the best treatment for you. Also, I feel that individual therapy is good if you want specialized attention on you, instead of it being a therapist trying to spread their attention in a group. You get all that on you. also with family therapy, if your family is dysfunctional, which a lot of people have dysfunctional families, we're all crazy in different kinds of ways. But if you feel like you need family therapy, like if you have problems with your mom, you have problems with your dad, you have problems with a certain family member, even if you have problems with your spouse, which is like marriage counseling, it can also be like family therapy. And you can involve your children, you can involve your parents, and just kind of heal together and talk about your problems together as a family, which I think is nice if your family is willing to do something like that. And with therapy, sometimes if you're a child and your parents have you in family therapy, sometimes it might feel like they're attacking you and attacking your character, but really they're just trying to find a solution to help you out with the way that you are. Now, if it's a behavior problem, then they're going to try to figure out why you have that problem. It might feel like you're under attack by both the therapist and your parents when you're sitting in that chair. I have had that experience, but honestly, they are just trying to do what's best for you and trying to figure out what works for you, and also trying to figure out the best route of treatment, whether that be medication, more therapy, or something else along those lines. And I keep talking about mental health because I feel like people don't talk about it enough. A lot of people have different problems going on and they don't feel comfortable talking about it. So when I make these videos, I hope that I am helping somebody that is going through something. I know that a lot of people are going through something and they don't really have a forum to talk about it. So here I am making another video about it. I plan on making more videos talking about other things and other subjects. If there's something that you want to ask me, you can ask me in the comments. If there's something that you just want to know about me, just a random question, I'll answer that too. I think that's very important to just talk. A lot of people who have come to the conclusion that they don't want to talk about it is because they've tried to talk about it before and nobody listened. I'm always willing to listen. My ears are always open. I'm always here. And honestly, after last night, my attempt after that last night, I'm really trying to make a plan of sticking around for a while, see where this goes, and just see if anything gets better. I know that everything gets better, but sometimes it's a struggle and a fight to see things getting better, especially if it's not big things. If it's little things, you're kind of like, that's not good enough, but it still matters. And I just want everybody to know that is watching this, that you have a purpose and you have a place here on this earth. You were born for a reason, and know that it's not just to pay bills and die. And you are special, whether you want to believe that or not. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful day, and I'll be seeing you around.